Can I just say that I'm over here mildly simping for Gudrid ever since she grew her hair out? I mean, just look at her. Look at those rosy cheeks. She's freaking adorable. Anyways, guys, we're back for another Vinland Saga review. First of all, I want to say, if you hear any kind of strange noise in the background, somebody is weed whacking outside of my window, and I just can't really get them to stop. I mean, I could throw some objects from my window to hopefully, like, hit them, but then I'm dealing with some sort of lawsuit or something, probably. So, sorry about that in the background. Hopefully the background music will drown that out. And if I don't record now, I won't have any other time today, so hopefully that'll drown it out. But anyway, Vinland Saga Chapter 185. I've been preaching the gospel of Vinland Saga for some time now, and I've actually had a handful of people tell me recently that I got them to check out the series and that they're very interested in it now, and that just makes me feel really good. So somehow my videos inspired you to check out the story. And yeah, there's no greater compliment than that. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. It makes me feel like I'm doing some good work here. Also guys, if you would like, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I know you got to get this in every YouTube video from every YouTuber. I know, it's annoying, I know. But sometimes you do got to remind people because they forget, you know, they'd watch a video and move on. And I'd like to make my way up to 100,000 subscribers. So slowly but surely kind of clawing my way up there. So if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, on to the review. Yeah, so I seriously believe that Vinland Saga is one of the best manga that's out there. And I know I haven't read as much manga as some people, but from all of them that I have, Vinland Saga still stands very strong within my top 10. In Chapter 85, it sort of shows us the best and worst of what I would call potential. We've had the Norse people and the natives meet each other, and they recognize that there's no hostility, at least between the people. So the natives give them some gifts that are unique to them, including syrup, which the Norse people have never tried before, and I like that they call it honey because that's their only reference to some sort of sweet, sticky substance that they would have, and I just thought that was a really cool reference. I like the blending of the different cultures and learning about one another through the items that they share. I love how Einar was the one to recognize corn as a crop that could be grown since he's the resident main farmer of the group, and I just freaking love this image of Einar holding an ear of corn and smiling. This is so hysterical to me. Like, this is a perfect out-of-context image, and honestly, it's kind of begging to become a meme. They also share a stone wheel in which they used to play a game called Chunki, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, where they would roll the stone and throw a spear to see how close they would come to guessing where the stone would land. It's very cool, and again, I appreciate the historical research that Yukimura put into the recent chapters. As I said before, I'm no history buff, so to me, I'm just enjoying this as a story, and it's nice to learn these little details. Honestly, I'm probably learning more about Native Americans from manga than I ever actually did in school. Of course, American school systems really love to embellish how happy everything is and how the settlers were so helpful to the natives. Yeah, that's probably a rant for another time. Anyway, the conflict of this chapter comes with the old native, whose name I don't even want to attempt to pronounce, but he speaks with a young girl about seeing more Norsemen arrive. Those Thorfinn had sent back from before, who arrive now that fall is setting in. Oh yeah, that's also the thing about this chapter too, is that we get a bit of a montage of time passing, which I think is good. We get the idea of what is happening with them sharing things back and forth, and we don't need 10 more chapters to understand that they are going to be on a level of mutual trust between the two sets of people. But as the old man talks about how he respects what the tribe has decided to do as the general consensus, he isn't sure what the outcome of this will eventually be. Part of the concern being that the amount of trees being cut down in favor of agriculture. The big difference being that the natives use what the land gives them naturally, and the Norse people manipulate land in order to make it provide even more. Neither concept is wrong, but they do butt heads. The girl mentions that she had a dream, maybe a premonition, of all the trees being gone and her body evaporating in a harsh sunlight, like a punishment from above for tearing up the earth. And I like this emphasis and power that the natives are putting on dreams, as if they are visions of the future or that they point towards something your spirit is trying to tell you, and that it's important to discover the meaning of your dreams. I always like shit like that, and I think that many times our dreams are messages from our subconscious trying to show us something we refuse to see when we're awake. The old man says that he will perform a ritual to help him see how true this dream of hers may be. The details are not explained, but she worries that it will be too taxing on his older body. So whatever the ritual is, it's obviously physically demanding. I don't know any historical details about native rituals, so I have no idea what it possibly may be. But the very idea of it, I think, is great. And I love how Yukimura is painting these sets of characters. Neither is wrong, neither is out to hurt the other, neither wants their way of life to be hurt or interrupted. But even if they get along, sometimes when you give an inch, others take a mile. Sure, the Norse can come in and have their little section of land to cut down trees and grow crops, but eventually they will most likely want to expand. They will want to bring more people from across the ocean. More people leads to more potential for conflict. Not to mention, in the last chapter, we saw Cordelia notice that Evyar brought swords with him, and we don't see any of these characters in this chapter, so it's still up into the air as what will happen with that. Since there is a small seasonal time skip, it's safe to say that Evyar has probably not confronted Cordelia about it yet, and if he has, she has agreed to keep quiet for him. A major bummer, though, is that the end of this chapter mentions the dreaded, horrible word that I have heard too many times in the manga community: hiatus. No, Vinland Saga, please, don't do this to me. Berserk, Vagabond, Hunter x Hunter, it's enough, man, I can't handle another one. But it does say just for the next issue, so that should mean it will only skip August and return in September. At least I hope. The reason in the translation is due to performing research. Now, I can't imagine that Yukimura doesn't have an entire arc mapped out for the most part in order to be able to write these chapters and set it up for the direction to go in. Between Thorfinn's hopefulness to succeed, the relation between the two groups, the uneasiness of the Elder, and Evyar's secret, he is setting us up for something really great. And it really does depend on how accurate to history he wants to be. Obviously, he is accurate in the setting, the clothing, the weapons, the culture, and all of that, but I mean as far as Thorfinn's story. I am perfectly okay if he pulls a Tarantino and changes history for the end of a story. I don't have any issue with that at all, but if he wants to remain historically accurate, as he mostly has so far, maybe more research is required to see how this original meeting of the natives and the Norse people actually ended. From what I hear, it's not very good, and maybe he's deciding what tone exactly he wants to leave the story on once it finally finishes. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Chapter 185. Do you like the direction it's going, and what do you think this ritual is that the Elder is about to perform? And if you need some Vinland Saga to tie you over for the next month, consider going back and checking out Season 1 of the anime again, because there is going to be a Blu-ray release very soon in the West with an English dub, and there's actually a completely second English dub on Netflix outside of the US. Yeah, it's a very weird scenario. It has two English dubs coming out at the same time. I go over it in this video here that I'll link down below if you want to check out the news on that. But if you like dubs, you're going to have two choices to check out and experience. So Vinland Saga, you can experience that all over again from Season 1. I know I can't wait to. Other than that, guys, please like this video and comment, as it really, really does help me out. As well, consider subscribing because I'm trying to reach that 100K mark maybe before 2022. That might be too ambitious, but we can try. Also, check out the description for the Patreon, merch, and various social media links. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.